Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today on this webinar entitled Naturally and Deliciously Improve Your Immune System. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Karen Wright of Wright Health Coach. I am a licensed nutritionist in the state of Maryland, a certified holistic health coach, a certified nutrition specialist, and I had been scheduled to offer classes at Keswick Wise and Well and Enoch Pratt Free Library in the coming weeks, but those classes have been temporarily canceled in light of the current coronavirus pandemic. These two organizations will contact the registrants when the classes have been rescheduled, so stay tuned. In the meantime, turn off all distractions and let's get started improving your immune system naturally and deliciously. My top immune boosting tips: get sufficient sleep. That's number one on the list. So many of us stay up late to watch the late shows, or wake up in the middle of the night and don't try to go back to sleep, or may have difficulty going back to sleep. I'll cover some tips for sleeping later, but just in general as an overview, make sure you're getting sufficient sleep. Drink filtered water. The filtered water is so important. You know that all of our cells are made up, a significant portion of each and every one of our billions of cells in our body is made up of water. And we need water to keep those cells active and alive, and also to transport the toxins out of our body. So drinking good, clean, pure filtered water is important. Some immune boosting foods that we're going to cover in this webinar are foods that are high in vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D. So let's get going. Vitamin A. Vitamin A was initially coined the anti-infective vitamin because of its importance in the normal functioning of the immune system. The skin and mucus cells lining the airways, the digestive tract, and the urinary tract function as a barrier to form the body's first line of defense against infection. The RDA for adults is 700 to 900 micrograms, and the TUL, the tolerable upper limit, is 3,000 micrograms per day. So we want to restrict our vitamin A to no more than 3,000 micrograms per day in general, unless you're ordered otherwise by a doctor. Now, vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it can accumulate in the body. And it's recommended not to exceed the tolerable upper limit, again, unless under doctor's orders. Some food sources of vitamin A include yellow and orange-colored fruits and vegetables, which contain significant amounts of the precursor to vitamin A, and then the body can convert those precursors into vitamin A. Green vegetables also contain vitamin A precursors, but the yellow and orange coloring is masked by the green chlorophyll pigments. Interesting, right? Animal proteins such as meat, fish, and eggs and dairy are also good sources of vitamin A. But let's take a look and see about how much we'd have to eat. Again, the RDA for adults is 700 to 900 micrograms per day. Some foods that are really good sources of vitamin A include cod liver oil, which is excellent. 1 teaspoon delivers your full day's RDA of vitamin A. Alternatively, eggs are a good source. Butter, whole milk are good sources. Take a look at carrots and baked sweet potato. Half a cup of carrots and half a cup of baked sweet potato contribute the major portion of our requirements for the day. In fact, baked sweet potato covers the requirements for the day, half a cup. I will often make baked sweet potato. I'll chop it up into cubes and bake it with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt and keep it in my refrigerator to throw in salads. I make a delicious cauliflower rice bowl that I have a recipe for at the end of this. And I'll just throw it in things so that I've got a little bit of vitamin A every day. Vitamin C. Unlike most mammals and other animals, humans do not have the ability to synthesize vitamin C, and we must obtain it regularly from our diet. We cannot store it up for future use. It's got to be a regular component of our diet. It's a potent antioxidant. And an interesting factoid, China is treating coronavirus COVID-19 with intravenous vitamin C of up to 6,000 to 12,000 milligrams per day. That's a megadose. And the Chinese doctors are recommending that their citizens supplement orally with vitamin C tablets in order to improve their immune system. So this would be a good time to increase your vitamin C. For adults, the RDA is 75 milligrams, and that's just for disease avoidance. The tolerable upper limit, however, is 2,000 milligrams per day. Now, vitamin C needs to be absorbed slowly, so you would not want to take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C at once. You'd probably flush most of that down the toilet. So limit your vitamin C intake to 500 milligrams at a time. So I would take one 500 milligram vitamin C with breakfast, one at lunch, one at dinner, and I've got 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C. Some foods that are really high in vitamin C are kiwi fruit, oranges are good, strawberries are wonderful. Sweet red peppers, that's another thing I keep in the house. I throw in salads, I'll throw in my chilies. Broccoli cooked, 1 cup, is 119 milligrams. That covers the whole RDA for all adults. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, but it was labeled a vitamin and the name stuck. Low serum vitamin D is linked to a higher risk of upper respiratory tract infections. And as the coronavirus or the COVID-19 does affect our upper respiratory tract, we definitely want to make sure that we're optimizing our vitamin D load. Vitamin D can be synthesized in the skin upon exposure to sunlight. However, in the winter here in Baltimore, we're covered up with coats and gloves and hats. So we're not getting much direct exposure to sunlight. It's a good idea to supplement, especially during these winter months and during this coronavirus pandemic, to make sure that we're optimizing our vitamin D levels. Some good food sources of vitamin D include pink canned salmon. I would restrict that to wild sourced if you can. And milk and eggs, again, good sources of vitamin D. Orange juice is another good source of vitamin D. The RDA for adults, 600 IUs for adults up to 70 years old, and 800 IUs for adults over 70 years old. So if you're over 70 years old, you'd want to try to get about 800 IUs per day. But look at the difference between the IUs for the RDA and the tolerable upper limit. The tolerable upper limit for vitamin D is 4,000 IUs a day. So you can beef up on the vitamin D to a significant level without having a negative effect for most people. Pink salmon, milk, orange juice, egg yolk. Again, vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin which can accumulate in the body, and it's therefore recommended not to exceed the tolerable upper limit unless under doctor's orders. I have known people who've had mega doses of vitamin D injected by their doctors because they were significantly lower than should be, but that's, again, under doctor's orders. As a normal supplementation level, we should not exceed the tolerable upper limit. Again, here's the sleep slide. Sleep is imperative to optimize our immune system, at least 7 hours per night. Now, some people think they can get by with less than 7, but they've done a study on this on soldiers and divided the soldiers into 2 groups, one that got their 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours, and the other that got less than that. And what they found is that the response time is much slower for those who are not getting sufficient sleep. Now, that's going to affect probably every system in our body. So we want to have our immune system optimized during this coronavirus pandemic. So do your best to get 7 hours of sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, try to get some exercise during the day and some sunlight. Sunlight actually primes the pump for melatonin so that when the darkness comes, the melatonin will help us fall asleep. And to improve your bedtime ritual, which will help you relax so that you have a more restful sleep, turn off all screens. That's TV, computers, smartphone, tablets, at least 30 minutes before going to bed. Take a nice warm bath or shower before bed. What they've found is the change in temperature between the warm shower or bath and the cooler air is relaxing to the body and forms the body to say, hey, it's time to go to sleep, and produces the melatonin, and we relax naturally. Try rubbing a little lavender essential oil on your pillow. What I'll do when I'm having trouble sleeping is put a couple of drops of lavender essential oil in the palms of my hand, rub my hands together, and then rub my hands on the pillow so that we have a nice diffuse scent of the lavender on the pillow. If you drink alcohol at night, switch to a non-alcoholic beverage. Alcohol will help you fall asleep, but you likely won't be able to stay asleep. And make sure not to consume any caffeine sources, including coffee, teas, colas, chocolate, after 3 or 4 p.m. And if all else fails, you've tried all of this and it hasn't worked, try a supplement of melatonin and L-theanine. The melatonin will help you fall asleep, and the L-theanine will relax you enough to help you stay asleep. And there are other supplements that we can recommend. I won't get into all of them here, but if you need help, give me a call or an email at the end of this presentation. If you do all of these things, you're getting your sleep, you're eating the right foods, and you still get sick, inform your doctor right away. And have a supply of elderberry syrup on hand. It's generally sold under the name Sambucol, and it's been shown to fight flu symptoms and reduce severity in those who took 15 milliliters 4 times a day. Here's the recipe I was telling you about, the vegan cauliflower rice bowl. This is delicious. It's easy to prepare. I'll often use what I have left over from last night's vegetables or some stock items that I keep in the refrigerator, like tomatoes and cucumbers. I will start with a base of cauliflower rice that's been cooked according to the directions, and then I'll add, maybe 3, 4, or 5 of some of the following ingredients. Organic grape tomatoes, sliced avocado or guacamole is delicious. Hummus is included in there. I'll put some hummus in there. I'll add for protein either some canned wild salmon or maybe some baked chicken or even a hard-boiled egg, just for some extra protein. Chopped organic red pepper, there's that red pepper for vitamin C. Some garbanzo beans are another good source of protein. Baked cubed sweet potato that I told you about before. And then I'll dress all of this with Italian dressing. So a good organic Italian dressing will be just fine. Put all of that in a bowl and then enjoy. It's loaded with all the good vitamins that we need in order to optimize our immune system. It's very filling. It's got good protein, good carbohydrates. Enjoy it. Tell me what you think. Now stay well. This presentation again has been sponsored by Keswick Wise and Well Center and the Enoch Pratt Free Library System of Baltimore, for those of you who were registered for my class, but they've been canceled for now. Stay well and stay tuned to Keswick Wise and Well and Enoch Pratt for the rescheduled nutrition series. Thank you for listening. If you'd like more information, please feel free to contact me at Karen@righthealthcoach.com. That's right, spelled WRIGHT, healthcoach.com. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Bye-bye now.